Hey everybody, how we doing tonight? Happy Thursday and welcome to the stream, the Final Fantasy XVI, our lecture play. Hope you're having a good day tonight, or today, or morning, wherever you are, whenever you are watching, whenever you're watching. But I hope you're doing well. If you saw me hop on and log off really quick, that's because I did. My computer needed to restart, and yeah, inevitably that happens every single time. Let's see. Hey, what's up? Thanks for following Vita Eris. It's always a good night when you got somebody that is already logging in and following before you even get started. We love it. Welcome. Da Potatoes, what's going on? How you doing? How you doing? It's good to see you. Hope you're good. Hope you're good. Hope you're good. All right. How's everybody doing tonight? We'll wait a couple minutes, see how we're all doing. Over Leveled Games, how you doing? Good to see you. Welcome to the chat. How's it going? How's it going? Things are going pretty well for me over here. It's the end of yet another week. It's been a kind of long week. I feel like I've been running around today. I had to fix a toilet at work, or at least call in some help to get a toilet fixed because I couldn't do it myself. I had to call in the big guns, plumber, to come and help. And then I had to do a ton of office stuff this afternoon. Had a ton of meetings with students. They were good meetings, but nonetheless, meetings. But not a bad day overall. Just kind of busy. It's good to be with y'all tonight. We'll just change up a couple settings here as we vibe to this very serious music. Here we go. All right, I think I'm good on my end over here. Everybody help me out a little bit. Is this sounding okay? Is the balance good? Music too loud? Am I too loud? Picture okay? Ugh. Do you ever get tired by Thursday? Man, I'm tired. It's been a long week. Okay, sound is great. All right, thanks, Potatoes. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Sounds good. Hey, G. What's going on? What's going on? All right, well, let me take a swig of coffee and let's do this. All right, everybody. Let me throw that behind me. All right, while we do this, so let's go ahead and get started. Everybody, hey, welcome into the chat. My name is Wade, aka ProfNoctis, and I'm so glad that you decided to spend this stream with us tonight, or today, or whatever it is to you. Like I said, I'm ProfNoctis. I'm an actual professor at the University of Alabama. I teach religion and video games, particularly based on my dissertation, which combined Judeo-Christian kingship as taught through Final Fantasy XV. So, yes, I am a doctor of Final Fantasy, of religious studies, but also a little bit of literature and psychology, all kinds of stuff. I'm kind of a armchair theologian, psychologist, therapist, you name it. Anyway, part of my thing is that we are going to deep dive on a bunch of games, but tonight we're doing Final Fantasy XVI, making our long lecture play. One of the things that I love to do is we have a kind of classroom style community on this Twitch and YouTube stream, and we learn together. So we're going to talk mythology, we're going to talk philosophy of religion, we're going to talk religion and theology, religious studies. We're also going to talk a little bit of psychology and all that kind of stuff tonight. So what I love doing in my classroom as well as in the chat here is we are collaborative in our research and our learning. So if you got something to say, it makes the chat and the time together so much better, just like it is in classes. So thanks for being here tonight. And tonight we're going to be focusing on the Mythos of Jill/Shiva. The Mythos of Jill/Shiva. As you can see, I've got the blue kind of greenish blue hues behind me. That's for Shiva. And we're going to be doing some of that tonight. We're also going to meet one of my favorite characters in all of Final Fantasy tonight, Uncle Byron. So get excited for that. Overleveled Games says, glad to catch a stream. I recently found your content via Resonant Arc. Man, what a fun podcast that was, right? And your stuff is directly up my alley. I'm so glad. I'm so glad. Thanks for listening, and thanks for hopping in tonight. Where we last left off, I did want to start off the stream with something that I found after the stream. So last time we were running some errands, as you do in side quests in this game, and came across a book that Tomes had loaned over to Vivian Ninetales, and it was called Of Gods and Men, and or On Gods and Men, and in the item description of that book that Harpocrates had loaned out, it speaks of a scholar from the city of Canver, which we haven't gotten to yet in this game, but from the city of Canver, named Anaximander. And so I was like, yeah, there's Anaximander. I've heard that name before. Would you believe, every morning, I do a little bit of either theology reading, philosophy, myth reading. Right now, I'm alternating among like 5 different books. One of them is my good friend MJ Gallagher's book, Greek Myths That Inspired Final Fantasy VII, which is absolutely incredible, great book. But I'm also rereading this book, which is called The Case for God by Karen Armstrong. Now, let me offer a preface here. The Case for God by Karen Armstrong. This book is not necessarily a Christian book. It is not related at all to some of the Lee Strobel books called like A Case for Faith or A Case for the Cross or things like that. This is actually a philosophy of religion book. And I share that because sometimes that rubs people the wrong way. And I want you to know that this is an actual textbook for religious studies classes, and it's not biased. That said, I'm reading this just the other day, and it was absolutely amazing because I'm reading a chapter on reason, where it's talking about Mythos and Logos, and I kid you not, I could literally show you the page. It says, it's talking about reason, it's talking about the Mythos, and about how the myths of society have kind of grown and developed over time. And then it goes into a story of, you guessed it, Anaximander. Listen to this. This is the real life Anaximander, not the guy that wrote Of Gods and Men in Final Fantasy XVI. But clearly there was a parallel. Listen to this. Here's what it says. Anaximander, who lived from 610 to 556, took this approach. He believed that the naturalist must go beyond sense data and look for what he calls an arche that was entirely different from any of the beings that we know. So they're talking about God, this idea of the divine, of the supernatural. Here's what it says. The cosmos must have emerged from a larger entity that contained all subsequent beings in an embryo. Listen to this. He called it the Epeiron, or Eperon, also called the indefinite, because it had no qualities of its own and was therefore indefinable. It was infinite, it was divine, but not a mere God, lowercase g, God, and the source of all life. By means of a process that Anaximander was unable to explain satisfactorily, individual beings had separated out from this core of Aperon. A seed had broken away and grown into a cold, damp mass that became the earth. Then, like a tree shedding its bark, the Aperon had sloughed off rings of fire, each surrounded by thick mist, which had encircled the earth. Without empirical proof, this was little more than fantasy, but Anaximander understood that the scientist could throw light on the unknown only if he laid aside conventional modes of thought. So this is a really interesting thing, especially in the framework of this game. And while we're not quite to the point where all of this is going to make sense quite yet, there is a thread of a kind of progenitor being who separates portions of himself and essentially begins Earth, or Valisthea in this case, and humanity. And I think that's really, really interesting, especially as we talk about the icons as having attributes of the divine gods, particularly of the gods of modern day religions. So I just wanted to share that with you because it's kind of rad to kind of look at and think about. Over Leveled Games, you ask a great question. I'm a curious man. What religion do you personally practice? I myself am a Bible church-going Christian, and I love hearing about philosophical and religious influence in video games. Over Leveled, me too. So I am a Christian. I'm actually a United Methodist. In addition to being a professor, I am also a campus minister where I work with a lot of our students in religious life. And so while I work in student life and in the classroom, I also work in religious life, helping the students find their spiritual home. I personally practice Christianity for my own stuff. So that was my start in all of it. It began my journey into religious studies, and it's only grown since then. That said, even though I am a Christian, I do study Hinduism. I study many spiritual practices like Buddhism. I study Islam, Judaism, all that kind of stuff. And one of the things that I try to do in this place is we try to learn from every different type of faith, of religion, of mythology, and perspective, trying to really share some common humanity here. So thank you for asking. Also, I've got to say tonight, before we get into the stream, I've got to say how excited I am because tonight, literally tonight, is the 2-year anniversary of when I became a Twitch affiliate. Now, I count this also as like my stream birthday, my stream anniversary, because I had only streamed like a couple of times before this, but tonight is the night that I first started streaming Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster 2 years ago. So thank you for being here with me. We're gonna have a good time tonight. It's gonna be a great time. So anyway, with that said, we've got some Jill/Shiva to learn about. So why don't we go ahead and dive in tonight. Oh, so much more pleasant music. Why didn't I shift over to the pleasant music earlier, huh? There we go. That was very epic music for theology, wasn't it? Okay, here's our girl, Jill. So if you're new to the chat and new to the stream, one of the things that we've done since the very first stream in Final Fantasy XVI is we ask a basic question. We've got these concepts of icons, E-I-K-O-N, and dominance. And icons represent these large gods, these massive gods. And then the dominants represent essentially like the priests that are able to summon them or to even become them. And they become the embodiment, the incarnation of that particular god. Now, one of the things that I've really tried to stress in these streams is that each icon can be taken in a couple of different ways. There may be parallels to real-world mythologies or real-world gods, or if you are a monotheist, or if you ascribe to a particular religion, like I myself, like I said earlier, Christianity, you might think of these different types of gods or icons as a different attribute of your God. And I think that this is a really helpful way of thinking about this. If, as it says in Christianity and Judaism, in some Egyptian and Mesopotamian religions, if humanity is born or created in God's image, then what does that mean? It's not just the human form, right? Because there's a lot of distinction and difference and disabilities and all kinds of stuff that make up the human form. But if it's beyond that, what are the attributes that convey the attributes of God that are in humanity? And so we've talked about some of these. Garuda being the attribute of divine control, Ifrit, divine wrath. We've talked about Rama or Sid as divine provision, providing for humanity and stuff. And tonight, we're going to talk about Shiva. So I would love to know your thoughts on what divine attribute Shiva/Jill contains. Okay, that's enough out of me. That was a longer mini lecture than usual. That was almost a real lecture.
Your uncle always seemed a kindly soul, if a little eccentric.
Eccentric? Okay, do we have any side quests that we need to do? No, we don't. Hello, friends! Lady of the Rings, welcome, welcome! Everybody's coming in for the 2-year streamerversary. So glad that you are here. We've just kind of been spouting out. You just missed me reading from The Case for God, which is by Karen Armstrong. It's a book of religious philosophy. Really, really cool. I know it's important to know as much as I can about other religions, though. Oh, right on, man. I was a youth shepherd for a season, and now I'm one of our worship leaders. I wish I had the patience to learn more about Hinduism and Buddhism. Yeah, sometimes it can get pretty dense, especially in classroom settings.
Did you find me some wax?
Find is one way of putting it.
Here's your wax, sir.
Ugh. Reeks like a chocobo's arse. Oh, I don't suppose the Argo will mind as long as he stays above the waves.
Argo? So your boat has a name? I didn't know.
Yeah. Same as my old man. He was a ferryman himself back before the blight came.
Poor guy.
The boat's all I have left of him. And thanks to you, he'll sail another day.
Quest complete. What a name. A badge of might. We love that. We love that. In fact, I might very well use that right now. Badge of might. Oh, I've got a badge of might +2. Why would I do a badge of might +1? Dumb. Okay, let's just do it. To Hawk's Cry Cliff, everybody. And we just got our chocobo. Life is good. Life is good. Let's do it. Have y'all been following the Final Fantasy VII Rebirth stuff? I watched a gameplay sequence of catching a chocobo today and was like, oh, this is adorable and amazing.
Do you think it was wise to leave, Gav? He didn't seem pleased.
I needed his eyes and nose in Dhalmekia. I'm not about to let Kupka take us unawares. Besides, he has a knack for that sort of thing.
That he does.
And wasn't it Sid who said that matters such as these are best left to dominance? Especially should one of his beloved opportunities to grow and change present itself.
Hey, 2 Cent, how you doing tonight? Welcome, welcome.
I always knew that I would return one day. Return to Ironhome.
For what?
After learning the truth, you were given the chance to face your past. If I am to continue at your side, I must do the same.
We will face it together then.
To the end.
Sweet toll.
Come on.
There is that clinking we miss so much. We had a big debate the other night about whether you could hear Jill's clinking and clanking. It's all I hear when we're going
How far
around.
do you think your mother's reach extends? Will we find the same tragedy in the south as we did at Martha's Rest?
More than likely. Which is why we should hurry. There are still many settlements between here and Port Isolde. We visit as many as we can and hear their stories. Starting with the village of Amber.
One thing to remember tonight, we are certainly chasing down Jill's past. A couple streams ago, we talked about Clive's shadow self, and we talked about him coming to peace with his past. Tonight is about Jill coming to peace with her past. And I guess us coming to terms with her clinking, clanking metal.
We're not alone.
We're not alone.
Out of our way.
Get him, Drogo. A fine hound. Let's go. Oh, over here. See, if you don't attack the chocobos, they won't attack you. I didn't know that the first time.
Mockery of justice is what it is. Lord Elwyn would never have stood for this.
Quiet, you! Thought they were loyalists.
Jill, look.
Rosaria must be cleansed of the stain which befouls her, that she might rise once again from the ashes to welcome a new dawn. 'Twould be a pity to make examples of you all, for the transgressions of but a handful.
Of course, your lordship. You shall have our full cooperation.
We may need to talk about Annabella tonight.
What business can the Black Shields have in a village this small? There's barely room to hide a bearer.
Then they must be here for something else.
You fancy dancing a gallows jig like them?
Excuse me, but what was all that about earlier?
You haven't heard? Someone's been stirring up trouble. There have been attacks on the garrison, supplies stolen. They even say a Black Shield was murdered. The Empire wants answers, and what the Empire wants, the Empire gets.
Don't they just?
Don't they
Keep your ears
just?
open, eh? The Black Shields will pay good coin for information on the culprits. You'd have to be dull as a sack of stones to think you could take on the Empire.
You seen him, didn't you?
I'm sorry.
The Black Shields. Just now. You seen him, didn't you? At least I think there was a Black Shield. Can't say I ever saw one before.
Was this the first time they visited the village?
Well, what do you think? Amber's the arse end of nowhere. And they thought we might be harboring firebrands. Huh. If only we were. I might have turned him in and become a Black Shield myself.
You don't think these firebrands the Empire is looking for could be us, do you?
I don't know,
How'd you get it?
but we need to find out.
Let's speak with the locals.
Greetings, friend. We are travelers.
I know that. What do you want?
We couldn't help noticing those Imperial soldiers who were here earlier.
Don't you go telling these strangers a thing. I speak for the people of this village, and we have nothing more to say to you.
Oh,
You are
this
to
guy.
leave Amber and never come back.
May I at least ask why?
I don't know who you are or what brings you here, but your presence puts us all in grave danger. The Empire is a harsh master. Its demands are great, and its justice swift. But as long as we keep our heads down and pay our tributes, we are left alone. Some might call it submission. But if it will spare my people the Viceroy's wrath, then I will gladly submit. This village will not become another East Pole.
Then we shall be on our way. These people live with a knife to their throats. In the mistaken belief that if they cooperate, my mother will show them mercy.
Obedience bought with fear.
Are you all right?
Sorry, It's nothing. We still don't know who the Black Shields are looking for.
Well, whoever they are, the Imperials deem them worth pursuing to the back of beyond. But other than Martha, who else in Rosaria would have the courage to stand against the Empire? A new ally would certainly be welcome. Can we find them before the Imperials do? Perhaps the next village will yield more answers.
Perhaps.
Perhaps. Indeed. So this reminds me of a story that actually comes from the Old Testament, the Hebrew scriptures. There are two queens that really Annabella reminds me of. The first one is Jezebel, married to Ahab, and these two were infamously kind of terrible rulers to their people, not very well loved, not beloved at all. And there's one particular scenario where, at the requesting of his wife, Jezebel, Ahab takes control of a nearby vineyard that had belonged to one of his citizens. And this was a well-documented injustice that really kind of showed how terrible this king and his queen were. In addition, Jezebel was a devout to the point that somebody could be, I guess, or of her power, more opportunistic regarding religions involving Baal. So she essentially commanded, in some ways, the prophets of Baal, and came face to face or head to head against Elijah, who was the prophet of God / Yahweh for the Hebrews or the Israelites. Jezebel was known, and Ahab as well, were known for their resistance to the words of the prophets, as well as their ruthlessness in ruling over the people. And I think that Annabella definitely has some of that in her, somewhat with her husband now, Sylvester, who rules over the, quote, empire in Sambrek. Another character from the Old Testament kingship narratives that she reminds me of is the one queen of Israel named Athaliah. Athaliah, through a series of marriage treaties and deaths, and then ultimately her murdering anyone that had basically laid claim to the throne, she ascended the throne herself and became the first queen. Now, what was really interesting about her is that, having killed anyone that might lay claim to the throne, there came a time when her son, who was kind of stolen away by one of the priests for a while, his name was Jehoiada, he was staging a coup, a rebellion, a revolt against Athaliah. And when the boy was of age, we're talking like young, 8, 9-ish years old, Jehoiada and the others, this group of soldiers, came to Athaliah, and they chased her up into a tower. And she was cornered. And she cried out for help. She cried out, "Treason, treason," as they were coming for her life. But because she had killed everyone that would have cared, they were able to kill her, and reclaim the throne rightfully. So, kind of an interesting story, especially with Annabella in some of her ways. Okay, just a little side note for everybody tonight. Let's get on a chocobo and go now. I may be the only person in the world that tells the story
This pass will take us through the mountains
of
and directly into
Athaliah, and says, "Now let's get on our
whatever
chocobo and run." Karuai, how you doing? Good to see you tonight. Hope you're having a good day. Let's get off this chocobo. It's too rocky. You know what we can do, though, before we get into this battle? I have a lot of ability points, and I think it's time we use them. We can master all these points. Oh, let's do that. Let's do that. Yes, that's exactly what I want. That's super interesting, especially with what's to come. Lady of the Rings, hold on to this, because, I mean, if you played the game, you know where we're going with Annabella, and I think that is a really neat thing. So we're gonna get into it. So, man, good stuff, right? Flames of Rebirth. Let's Flames of Rebirth it. Again, I like that one. You know, I never really used Aerial Blast all that much. Oh, I do love Earth and Fury. That's such a fun one. Titanic Block. Is that... Any others? Man, I haven't been using Giga Flare very much. Interesting. Ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-da-da. Allows assignment to any icon. Yeah. Okay. I guess that'll do then. Let's go.
Ever since the auditory, we've seen more and more of these echoes.
What do you think is waking you? The mother crystal's black.
I have an idea. I like it.
All right. Look at that. Nice. Farewell. Martha. Okay. I'm all lost. We're going the right way? Yes. Oh, hello. Black shields.
More of my mother's men.
How about some Shiva? These guys are a little easier than I was anticipating. Even though I'm playing on hard mode. Y'all, I was going back and looking at some old videos of my earliest streams today because it's like my 2-year anniversary, and it has been so funny to kind of look and see how far we have come. It is a different world now. They weren't bad, I'll say that. It's not like I was super embarrassed or anything, but it feels like I know how to do a lot more now. And I'm not just like bumbling around. I was still terrible at games back then too, though. So. Hey, here's a question, chat. This doesn't have anything to do with Final Fantasy, but I'm just curious. Have you ever heard of a game called Toon Blast? Anybody? I was in a conversation with colleagues the other day, and they got to talking. Somebody asked me about my dissertation and how did I get involved in video games and what gave me the idea. And so I was telling them the story, and they were like, yeah, I totally understand. I play Toon Blast all the time. And I was like, I have no idea what Toon Blast is, but I love that that's a game that you play. I think it's like a gacha game or a mobile game, but I don't really know anything about it. Toon Blast. I feel like I've heard of it, but I couldn't tell you anything about it. There, that was me, and I was like, hey, I love that you play a game on your phone. Do y'all realize how many people play games on their phones? It's a ton of people, to be honest. Kind of funny. I like never play games on my phone. Blood, Clive.
And still wet.
Still wet. Thank you, 2 cents. Happy 2-year anniversary, baby.
You were told to stay in your homes.
Gamers rise up.
The Black Shields.
The Black Shields.
You know who we are. And still, you would bear your steel.
Maybe at the end of the stream tonight, we'll watch some my old videos. See how far we've come.
The trouble of an interrogation.
That'd be fun.
To dwell in darkness, that we may purge the
It's
night
a
and
match 3 game? What's a match 3 game? Like tic-tac-toe?
Our swords we swear.
Say that again. I'll show you a true shield, Rosario.
Let me show you some Phoenix power. There we go. Look at this. Sanjisuken. I love it so much. Look at that guy flying in the air. Let's slash him. Bam.
You're finished.
You're finished. What an amazing ending that was. Gosh, I'm so good at this game, right? It's okay to be impressed.
Tell me what I want and the end will be swift. Who are you looking for?
Mother. Why, you. We come bearing a message. Your friends have been found. The branded you freed from our camps. They await you in Ordeal. Guardians of the Flame.
Those are Old Hill's gates.
Then we hurry.
Okay, let's go. We must go. There's no need to sprint, Clive. By all means, let's walk. Oh, geez, this part. So this next part, I actually have something to say about this.
Find something, boy. Death.
Found her.
This was my mother's doing.
Why would anyone...
I don't know. I never truly understood her. But this...
Oh, Clive.
I will learn what madness drives her, and I will end it. We should go.
Yes.
So there's something that I want to pull up
We can't leave them
really
here like
quickly.
this.
We won't. But if the Black Shields have made it this far south, they may already be in Port Isolde.
This is all right, there's something I want to share with you on this because I think that it is kind of interesting to see. The question, oh, the stream is not ending, sorry. But I am going to use this screen for just a second, so bear with me. Jeffrey, you asked a good question. Was it necessary to have this? And I assume that you mean the people that are kind of tied up, bodies strung up like this. I want to show you something that I think is kind of horrific, but also important. And not horrific as in like graphic, not as graphic as this by any means. Let me kind of come over to this screen really quick. Yeah, so you can still kind of see these bodies that are strung up here. And I just want to point out something to you really quick. That as if this were not terrible enough, there is kind of an added sense of horror to it. And it comes on this screen right here. So let me be able to interact with this really quickly. Okay. So if you look at this right here, you can see that this is the kind of emblem of Sambrek, and you notice that Grigor, Saint Grigor here, is standing atop what looks like a spear with these two dragons down here. This is the Empire of Sambrek, and you're able to see that that this is. Let me see if I can change this up. This is kind of their national symbol, right? So let's kind of move this right over here for right now. And I'll just kind of read portions of this to you for a second. On the screen, it says, Sambrek is the largest theocratic force in Valisthea. The Empire's holy capital, Oriflamme, which we've already been to briefly, is built around Drake's Head, the mother crystal that blesses the surrounding provinces. The people happily take advantage of this, the mother crystal, living in comfort and security under the watchful gaze of the holy emperor, whom they worship as the living incarnation of the one true deity. That's big. The dominant of Bahamut, Warden of Light, serves as the Empire's champion, taking to the field in times of war to rout its enemies. Now, this is fascinating. Their emblem is a golden holy figure representing the goddess Grigor with a golden crest. And like I said, the dominant of Bahamut serves as the nation's champion. It's interesting to me that in a land of dragoons, and particularly in a land with Grigor, who is almost, it seems to me, this patron saint of bearers and bearer sympathizers. It's interesting to me that in this particular scene, where they strung up, but on these giant pyres, that they are like stakes that are almost emulating this, and it shows kind of the might and the power of the Empire. Now, this is incredibly reminiscent to me of some of what happened to members of the early church. As Jesus was crucified with the cross, a common Christian symbol is to have crosses around Christians' necks and things like that, and it means hope and all that kind of stuff. It also means perseverance, that resurrection, that idea of the phoenix, the empty cross, or even for Catholics, the cross that's a crucifix. It is a symbol of hope. It's a symbol of redemption, all that kind of stuff. And it was also used in persecution of the early church, right? Where early Christians were also crucified to be like their master Jesus. And in fact, some were crucified upside down because they didn't deem themselves as worthy. You note this guy up here. You note this guy up here in the background who is strung up upside down up there. And in fact, it kind of looks like he is on a small cross. I think that is a pretty intentional symbol that they are using. This guy also is strung up upside down. I think this is a pretty intentional symbol, and I don't mean to be so graphic with that, but it is fairly intentional that they are almost making a mockery in some ways of this symbol of Grieger, while also showing we are the ones in power, where that spear that she stands on in her emblem is one of power and dominance and control, in some ways of justice. This is their way of doling out justice. It's their way of imposing their will on others. So again, it's not a pleasant thing to think about necessarily, but it is one that that is unfortunately pretty relevant to a lot of religious history here. This also reminds me of some of the
We're approaching Buick Bridge.
cities that say
the Empire would let us
Athaliah,
cross over to
Jezebel, and other unkind monarchs would have imposed their will upon if they didn't fall in line.
I did, Mummy. I could hear him shouting from down the road.
Hush, no. You didn't hear nothing.
You didn't hear nothing. That is
They're all Rosarian.
exactly
But
what
this
you
is
said to
their
a little
home.
kid, right?
I'm hungry.
Resonant Arc pointed out that it's reminiscent of the Spires in Twinside too. The Spires in Twinside, did they really? In their podcast? Man, I knew I liked those guys. Oh, man. I actually have not been listening to their podcasts as we're going through. So awesome. Gosh, I love those guys. If you have not listened to Resonant Arc, I was on their podcast not too long ago. And they're great. They're good people. Good people over there. Really enjoy their podcast.
The Lazarus. What happened to this place?
My mother happened. The nobles who lived here didn't stand a chance. Let's hope my uncle fared better.
And again, with the city of Lazarus, or the Lazarus rather, you definitely have this doubling down on the theme of rebirth, resurrection, resuscitation, comeback. Okay, what are we doing? Why are we walking? Why are we walking when we have birds to do this for us? Well, we walked 3 steps. Okay, time for a scene.
My children are starving!
Have mercy.
Have mercy.
Voice-ridden dogs they are. You can't ignore us forever.
Let us in or we'll die on your doorstep.
Better out there than in here.
More than enough room to
Fuck off.
Hang the chinless bastards. Those crystals belong to us all.
I said, where were you, filth? Back to your sties. Cut you down where you stand.
Destroy it.
No chance of slipping through unnoticed.
No.
We'll need to find another way in. I thought we might be able to reason with the guards. Or at least bribe them.
I suspect everyone in that crowd thought the same. Was that the only way in?
Officially, yes. Strictly speaking, no. My uncle once told me that the nobles had tunnels built, so that they could visit town without having to walk amongst the rabble.
To the tunnels.
The Lazarus.
The Lazarus.
We'll find our way into the city there.
Happy affiliate anniversary.
Sure.
Ooh, apparently there's a special
entire
affiliate
place looked
anniversary party hat.
You
What?
think it's safe?
Hooray!
As long as it is abandoned.
Hey! Thank you for gifting a Tier 1 subscription, Hoven. What's up? Thank you, thank you, thank you.
We haven't seen a single black shield since Old Hill.
Oh my
Maybe they
gosh.
found who they were looking for.
Happy streamerversary. Oh my gosh. Right here at the tail end of September, too. How crazy is that? Thank you so much, Hoven. Appreciate you hopping in, man. Is that Machamp or Machoke? The greatest of all the Pokemon.
This is nothing like I remember it.
How quickly a crown can lose its luster.
How quickly? Whee. How's everybody doing tonight? Hoven, you doing good?
Not abandoned then.
Wanted to jump in between video editing. Premiere Pro is fun. Premiere Pro is fun, isn't it? What are you editing?
Apologies.
Apologies.
We'll show ourselves out.
No, you won't. Toggle. Making some dinner if anyone wants veggies. I would love some veggies right now. I had a protein shake just before stream, so I'll be eating dinner after stream, turns out. Like I said, it was plumbing work earlier. Happy affiliate anniversary! Oh my gosh! New here, love your lore about the game. Oh, thank you so much, Princess Nina. Oh my gosh. That means a lot. Really appreciate it. My girl. Didn't want to do PowerPoint for your class, so you're doing a video documentary. As we do. That is so much better, isn't it? I wish I'd known, well, excuse me, I wish that we had Premiere Pro when I was in college. And I wish that I knew how to use it when I was working on my doctorate. That would have made it amazing. Also got to visit Ebenezer Baptist Church today. That's awesome. That's a really, really cool day. A really cool day to have. No Real Gaming is lurking. Thank you for the lurk, my friend. It's good to see you tonight. Siren Gaming, glad that you are here. Thanks for the heart. Thank you, thank you. Hope you're all doing well. This is a fun night, everybody. We're all in here. Streamerversary. And how fitting on
seen one man fight like that.
On Streamerversary. Look who we got.
Dead.
Then perhaps it's time you joined him.
The blessing of the Phoenix. It can't be. I was there when you died.
The man, the myth, the legend. Sir Wade himself.
Forgive me, my lord.
It
I knew
me.
not whom I addressed. You have naught to fear from us. Founder, it really is you.
Oh, I love him. Y'all, when I saw him come back, I was so excited.
Sir Wade.
Sir Wade, baby. Aww. And Jill.
We can speak inside.
Also, happy to see you, Jill. This is only part one of her night, right? We'll have another big night for her later on in the semester.
And those who
This
wouldn't
is New
bend the
Game
knee.
Plus, yes.
We left before the Empire could make examples of us, though we didn't go far. And we banded together to
Jill
form
and
the
Cloud.
Guardians of the Flame soon after. Alas, there is only so much a handful of aging shields can do against the might of an empire. But we've seen to it that their stay has been anything but pleasant. Of late, though, we've had our hands full just trying to keep the Duchy's few remaining bearers out of the Imperial's clutches.
The Cullings. We saw what happened in Old Hill.
Aye, the foul work of the Black Shields and their mistress.
You mean my mother? But it doesn't make sense. Even knowing what I know about her. Her hatred for bearers was no secret, but she wouldn't have been ignorant of their value to the realm.
No offense, my lord, but in case you haven't noticed, the Lady Annabella couldn't care less about the realm.
Alright, see you, Hoven.
She barely even cares for her own home. That much has been plain since the slaughter at Eastpool.
Thanks for the lurk.
And since granting the Holy Emperor a new heir, her obsession with bearers only seems to have grown. As to why, I don't know. Maybe she can't bear the thought of anyone having the power to challenge her beloved son.
Her son.
Sir Wade, the Black Shields have broken camp. They march in full force for Buick Bridge.
Then so do we. Make ready.
Okay, here we go.
This is their main host.
Maybe
If
it's
we
not.
remove the head, perhaps we can prevent what happened at the docks from happening somewhere else. If I do nothing, then the blood of their next victims will be on my hands.
Yours. And
Streamlabs
ours.
is going wild in the chat.
We too have witnessed the crimes these men who
He
dare
was
call
silent
themselves
for an
shields have
hour.
committed in my mother's name. It cannot be allowed to continue. We must put a stop to this madness.
We must. So let us go with you. For the good of Rosaria.
I was hoping you'd say that. Very well. If that is your wish, I would be honored to serve at your side.
And we at yours.
So, Wade, let us do our duty.
With pleasure, my lord.
I love him. I love me.
I imagine this endeavor will require more than just our wits.
More than just our
And let's hope Sir Wade has a good quartermaster.
We'll show them that the fire... I suppose we owe you our thanks. You spared us when you could have just as easily sent us.
I could have ended your life. That was within my power.
You're telling me that's the...
But I was merciful.
You are welcome to what little we have managed to salvage.
Well, I haven't needed anything, it turns out. So.
May the blessing of the crystals go with you.
And also with you. Alright, Sir Wade.
Tell us then, Sir Wade. What is your plan?
Nothing fancy. You, Lady Jill and I make for Buick Bridge and provoke the main host at their encampment. Sensing an opportunity to end the Guardians, the Black Shields will call for reinforcements, who will be met from the rear by parties of my brothers hidden throughout the surrounding hills. This will allow us to wage battle on the bridge without fear of being overwhelmed. While the Black Shields have an advantage in numbers, you see, they prefer to fight in small units, which we can use to our advantage.
How small exactly?
Small enough, now that I have you and Lady Jill for company. I doubt I could have done this on my own.
But until we arrived, that was your plan. You haven't changed a bit.
So Wade, the bearers from Old Hill have been laid to rest.
Very good. Now make ready for battle.
As you command.
Thank you, Sir Wade. Perhaps now they will find peace.
There is but one thing which will grant them peace. Putting an end to the Black Shields.
And so we shall.
Wah, 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 wah. Okay. Let's do it.
May the blessing of the Phoenix go with you.
And also with you. See what you have
How
to
long
say.
have you been pursuing the Black Shields?
Since they burned their first village, we tracked down the bastards responsible and fed their corpses to Stillwind. Suffice to say, that got their attention.
Don't neglect the fact that we have Sir Wade in our party as a guest. Look at him down here. How cool is this? We love him. Ugh. I need that. I need that pin. I've got a Torgal pin, which is awesome. I wore it with my suit today, but man, a Sir Wade pin would be very fitting, don't you think?
It's been a game of cat and mouse ever since.
And so, so are we, and we also with you, and not, and also with your spirit. We are, and then also with you. We're first of all, we're a traditionalist group, but secondly, man, I hated that change when they started saying "and with your spirit." Nobody wants that. And with your spirit. I've started the game the second time, and from the beginning without the Zentetsuken, and let me tell y'all, I don't like it. Oh no!
There they are.
So you're doing
On
like
your command, my lord.
new game without it? Interesting. So it's not New Game Plus, is it, Nina?
What is it now? I told you.
We bear a message for the Vicereine. From the Guardians of the Flame.
Ha! You presume to tell us that a pair of filthy vagabonds, a woman and a dog, could guard aught against the might of the Black Shields? Then come! Die along with your flame!
Alright. The funny thing about dying with the flame is that we will rise again.
Your petty revolution ends here.
I just go in and launch the Phoenix. Zero chill. But you know what they say about chill, right?
On
You bring in
these our
Shiva.
swords we swear.
Oh, you jerk. You thought.
Bloody hell! Reinforcements from the far bank!
No big.
To fight their battles for them.
Oh, it's over for you. It's over for you.
More dragons.
Works. The Imperials aren't taking any chances. I can't say I'm
Woo! Heck yeah. It looks so cool every time I use that Berserker ring. I love it. There we go. Boom, 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 boom. Oh, you jerk.
Nice try. Too slow.
Hit him! Jerk.
Guess we're all ready. Nice try.
Okay, that'll do. Easy peasy. Guy almost defeated, still talking trash. Not for long. What's up, Sabla?
Albeit a misguided one. In taking it, you have but proven our point. That this land is in dire need of cleansing.
Hello! Night of the Lasting Dark. You thought. Dragoons are so cool. Even though this one is not my fave. Woo! Get him! Come on, get him! Let's go! Yeah, there we go. There we go. Oh, this is beautiful. Look at this. Ow. Woo! Let's go, let's go, let's go.
So wait.
Oh, heck yeah.
There's no one left to keep them occupied. We need to finish this.
Ow. Oh, no. Oh, I was not expecting the second jump there. Ouch. So that we may purge the night and welcome lasting dawn. Night of the Lasting Dark seems like a conflict of interest here. You right, you right. Oh, we back here? All the way back here? Are you kidding me? Well, you know what we're going to do? We're going to swap up some of our icons. Because guess what? Jill ain't doing anything here. So it's going to be a little bit hermit. Do we like that? I feel okay with that. I might like Titan more.
May the blessing of the Phoenix go with you.
May the blessing of the Phoenix go with you.
Run like the wind.
Run like the wind. All right, let's go. Chocobo Drift here. Big kick. Bugger me sideways.
Bastards are lucky I didn't have one.
Let's do it, Ambrosia. Okay, we've already seen this, so we're gonna go ahead and skip it. Now, back to it.
Your petty revolution ends here.
Your petty revolution.
On these our swords we swear.
There you go, Sir Wade.
Bloody hell! Reinforcements from the far bank!
More?
Another wyvern to fight their battles for them.
Heck yeah.
More dragons!
Worse. The Imperials aren't taking any chances. I can't say I'm flattered.
All yours, Torgal.
Ow.
Too slow. I needed that.
Love that berserker ring. There we go, there we go. Love it. I love that one too. That one's also good. Oh crap, I didn't mean to do that. Oops. Okay, we did it. Back where we were. I know, I know.
A noble stand, albeit
Okay, there's no skipping.
Guided one. In taking it, you have but proven our point. That this land is in dire need of cleansing.
This land is my land. This land is your land. Ow. Go. Oh, that didn't work great. Back at it, come on. Yeah, Black Dragoon armor is rad. Oh, okay, let's do it. No, back up, back up. Woohoo. There we go, baby.
So Wade.
So Wade.
There's no one left to keep them occupied.
Found her.
We need to finish this.
Oh sure, oh sure.
We finish him.
Finish him. Ooh, dodge. Ooh. Dodge again. Come on now. Ooh, that was close. Get them all, get them all. Ow. This should do it. Epic. Gosh, there is nothing better than using that at the end of a fight, right? That looks so cool every time. Oh, I love it. Many have tendered explanations as to how Imperial Dragoons are able to leap to such absurd heights, from the power of prayer to a strict diet of hare, toad, and crickets, but none save the knights themselves know the truth. Whatever the secret, it is plain that heavy plate would only prove a hindrance, and so the Empire equips its dragoons with armor forged from lighter-than-linen mithril. Okay. Neat. It's broken, and I shamelessly endorse it. Absolutely. All right, Jill, we'll get to you next.
I don't see any more.
Nor do I.
Nor do
The
I.
plan worked.
It did. It
bloody worked.
We sent every last one of the rotten bastards straight to the mud. Lord. Perhaps this will be enough to stop the Cullings. For the time being, at least.
Perhaps. Though I doubt my mother will take this loss well. She'll move swiftly to see her minions' ranks replenished.
And then it will all begin again. I often wonder if the nation we once knew is gone for good. Her fields rot. Her people starve. We battled to preserve the flame that was, but for every foe we fell, another springs up in its place. Yet be that as it may, it is still our home, and we must fight for it. As we always have, and always will. For as long as the Firebird's flame burns in our hearts, the Duchy cannot die. And her loyal subjects may dream of a day when the Rosarian standard flies over Rosalith once more.
So wait,
Think we should fall back to Port Isolde before the garrison sends reinforcements? A sound strategy, my lord.
Wong. Thank you.
And how long has my uncle been funding you and your comrades' endeavors?
Since the beginning. Lord Byron was the first person I turned to after forming the Guardians. And had I known of this tunnel back then, I wouldn't almost have been hanged by the city guard for trying to sneak over the wall.
I suppose a formal request for an audience would have appeared suspicious.
And appearances must be maintained. Were the Vice-Regency to catch wind of Lord Byron's involvement in our movement, they'd seize his estate and send him to the gallows, where he would be of no use to anyone. And so, though it sickens him to the soul, he plays the part of the loyal lord, knowing that one wrong move might prove his downfall. It is why he remains ever vigilant. Don't be surprised if he refuses you an audience, especially since you're famously dead.
Then I will have to think of a way to prove that I am neither wraith nor wrongdoer.
I might have something which could help with the latter. It's the mark of the Guardians. Display it, and those who love Rosaria will know where your loyalties lie.
Burnt blade.
I shall wear it with pride.
Be sure that you do. I don't want my men attacking you again. Unless you deserve it. If only Sir Tyler could have been here to see you. Or the Lord Commander.
Thank you, Sir Wade. If there is ever anything you need.
I know. Go on now, my lord.
Oh, here we go. What a bro. We love Sir Wade.
How accommodate.
Before we go into this next space, I do want to mention just a couple of things, give you a mini lecture for some context of some of the things that are going on here. I mentioned a little bit earlier this story, especially regarding Annabella, referring to Jezebel and her husband Ahab. Ahab is, he's not a good king, but he's not a good king for a lot of reasons, including his particularly spiteful and angry wife, Jezebel. Seeing Clive and Jill do something pretty similar in that they are in this realm of Sanbreque and Rosaria and all this stuff, and they're going around and they're seemingly visiting people on the ground level during a blight, right, where the blight is taking away all these resources of the earth. And you see people grappling with that reality in a lot of different ways. You see them kind of struggling with, what are the ins and outs of our religiosity and stuff. What do we do? And so for the Israelite people, they were constantly tempted with this counter god Baal, who was also a god of fertility, a god of storms, among many other things. And so they would worship the god Baal. And Elijah and these prophets of Baal had quite a contest between themselves. Now, Jezebel's close alliance, wanting to bring control to this famine, or blight, as it were, in this game, aligns herself with these prophets of Baal and takes great ire with the idea that Elijah is coming at her with her prophets in this way. And so she actually puts out a bounty on his head. And all this stuff. So anyway, you can read that for yourself in 1 Kings 18, 19, 20, 21, several of these chapters, and see for yourself. But I think it's a really interesting piece. We see in Clive and in Jill this pursuit of kind of checking on everybody in the villages and the towns, but also uplifting kind of what they stand for, this idea of the phoenix, and not rejecting that phoenix. So there's that. All right, let's get on with it.
Do you really think they believe we are who we say we are?
Not a chance. Right, I guess. My uncle believes we're imposters here to rob him. And means to string us up himself.
So shaken.
Imagine my surprise when I was told my nephew had come to visit. Clive Rosfield died long ago. And for uttering his name here, you shall pay with your tongue.
I love this guy.
You would mock me as well?
It is I, Sir Crandall of Camelot, loyal servant to Her Serene Holiness, Saint Sybil the Unshod.
It's like one of the few times Jill smiles.
Thou vile sorcerer, for thy crimes against church and crown, I shall have thy head.
Curse thee, infectious flax wench. Even in death, must thou plague me still? Very well. I shall open the gates of hell, that thou might see thy charge once more.
Bravo, Uncle. You're still the finest Madder in the twins.
Oh, Clive.
Aww.
My dear boy. It's really you. You always were.
This scene
fond
is
of that
amazing.
scene from The Saint of the Sanctuary.
It's so good.
Never did let me play Sir Crandall.
I have a favor to ask, Uncle Byron.
Rutherford, inform the kitchens. There'll be guests. We dine immediately.
But, Uncle...
You can't very well regale me with the tale of your miraculous preservation on an empty stomach. Go on, sit. See that you use the good plates, Rutherford.
Rutherford. I love them. They're great.
So you arrived late to one of her cullings, did you? Since becoming Vicereine, Annabella has been a constant thorn in Rosaria's side, but these atrocities are a new low. Something has changed. Quite what, I don't know, but the woman we knew is gone, and a monster sits in her place.
A monster.
For better or worse, I've been charged with governing this town, and thus must maintain the illusion of obedience. That's all I can do to aid Wade and his merry band of revolutionaries.
So he's told us. You have risked much for Rosaria. Our nation will be forever in your debt.
It has been 20 years, Clive. The nation your father and your forefathers fought to defend is no more. Perhaps it would be otherwise had I the courage of my brother. All right, if it's a ship you require, a ship you shall have. I've a galley in port, but recently relieved of her cargo. She can be outfitted for the voyage in a matter of weeks.
So you believe us then? About everything?
Believe you? Ha! Only a fool would believe even half of the things you claim. But until tonight, only a fool would have believed my nephew still lived. And besides, I have it on good authority that Clive is telling the truth.
Whose authority?
Your own, of course. You've always been a terrible liar.
Is that true?
It's not